Welcome to the very first episode of Boo Coffee. We got some viewer mail. We have Dalton down in Moore. He is the son of a very old friend of mine. I mean, they're not very old. I kind of feel very old, but a long time running friend of mine. And supporters of Boo Science. So Dalton writes in and he wonders, do I have any brothers or sisters? Do I have a best friend? And do I like pizza, or am I allergic to cheese? I'll start with that one first, because that's a very important question to me. I do love pizza. I love pizza, but I also am allergic to cheese. So I have to be very, careful with that, like anything else in life. Moderation is important. I pick the time when I can eat it, and it's, not as much as I wish I could. He asks if I have any brothers and sisters. Yeah, actually I have a lot. There are 3 boys and 3 girls. There are 2 brothers, and then there are 3 sisters. It's kind of like the Brady Bunch. I bet you don't know who the Brady Bunch is. You should probably have your parents show you. There's a big one. There's Kathy, there's Megan, there's Christina, there's Mike, and there's John. And they all live in kind of different places in their own different homes with their different families, and we get to see each other once in a while. We're gonna see each other here soon for some October birthday celebration. There's a lot of October babies. I'm not one of those, but those who are pretty cool people. Some of my favorite in the world. So they are neat people. I love my family. We get to see each other a lot, and that's very important to me. It keeps me happy, and I know it keeps them happy too. So I love them very much, and I know that you have a brother, and he asked a question too before I go to that one. Best friend. Yeah, I have a lot of best friends, or rather I've had a lot of best friends over time. Things change and people have to go and do different things. So I've been lucky enough to have friends for a great number of years, and we're still best friends, but that allows me to have time outside of them to make new best friends. So the older you get, the more best friends you get to have. It's really a neat thing. You get to know many people as well as you do your very first best friend, which feels like one of the best things in the world, and it is. So you're gonna get to share your time with a lot of neat people and make a lot of new best friends throughout your life, and you should really, really be happy about that. That's a lot to look forward to. Your brother has a question, so we're gonna see what your brother has to say. I want to ask you, is your brother your best friend? Alright, this is Dylan. Sorry, I should look into the camera. This is Dylan. I know it's really hard to hear, but Dylan is asking me, he loves me, and am I hungry, and do I love him? Well, thank you very much. Am I hungry? I am. I am very hungry. I've just been drinking coffee this morning. Well, I haven't had much coffee. Let's go ahead and fix that. I'm going to go ahead and make myself a really nice and healthy breakfast, because yesterday I think I had cinnamon rolls and some fried stuff, so not very good for a breakfast. We're gonna fix that today. Today's gonna be very good health food wise. So I won't be hungry for long. Thank you very much for asking. And yeah, of course I love you. Your parents are amazing people, and they had amazing kids. That's what happens when amazing people love each other. So I know you're gonna grow up to do amazing stuff, and you seem to be a really nice guy. And if you're interested in, the things I'm interested in, science and art, and clearly your parents are, so I bet you are too, then yes, definitely. I definitely love you, and I bet a lot of people do. So know that you are loved. Get out there and do some great things. Learn some neat stuff. Maybe something about science, maybe something about art, who knows? Let's go ahead and talk about some of those things too. Alright, now for the second part of Boo Coffee, where we drink coffee and talk about science a little bit. So, it is October 22nd. It is, I don't even know, I think it's like a Thursday. Is it a Thursday? It's a Thursday. So what we have going on today is pretty kind of cool. I don't know if you guys know what a white dwarf is, but it's a star. And, well, it's a star in a certain stage of its life. And our little star, which is called Sol, S-O-L, is going to become a white dwarf when it kind of burns out. So universes and solar systems and everything that makes up the universe has a life cycle, like everything else, like plants, like human beings, and like stars. So we found this star called WD11, let me get this right, 45017. And we've been watching the sky and we see this object, and it's a white dwarf that we named this really weird name. We're running out of names. That's why it's named that. And we just noticed that there are some really heavy elements rotating around it very quickly, and it turns out by analyzing the light that they reflect back that these are pieces of either really complex big asteroids, but more likely they're parts of a protoplanet or a planet that started to form, or maybe even a planet that did form and broke up from like a collision, and it's just now starting to sink into the star. So we're gonna get to watch this star eat a planet. That's what's happening. We get to see this life cycle aspect of the universe that we've never seen before, which is really incredible if you think about it. Just over the last few hundred years, we've been able to watch like the life cycles of plants and human beings up close, where we can study the actual function, like how our blood cells do things, and even smaller, inside of the blood cells, like what's happening inside that little kind of mechanics, the machinery. We're getting to do that for the first time with stars. We've never done this before. This is really big news. It's not something you're going to hear a lot about because it's not as cool as some of the other stuff going on in science right now, like hoverboards and things like that. Those are really cool too. But this is very neat. We finally get to see some of the life cycle of stars, and particularly of one like our own. So now we're becoming scientists in not just kind of a way where we guess or we figure out how things happen by measuring and figuring out kind of the only way stuff can happen. Based on ruling out, a lot of options. We get to observe it. We get to look at it with our eyes. It's kind of like using a microscope to see what's going on in a plant, but on a much bigger scale. And it's really gonna be a cool thing. So that's happening. The other thing is chemists have figured out how to do this, what's called a redox flow battery. So a redox flow battery is typically where there are some really heavy, nasty chemicals, some metals that get put into kind of a flowing system, and acids like eat away at the metal. And when this happens, electricity is released and can be used for devices to power things like toys or computers or cars, lots of stuff. And this redox flow type of battery is pretty darn efficient, and it can be used to get a lot of power. But it's not commonly used because it's expensive and very corrosive and very bad for the environment. These university researchers have figured out how to make what's called a polymer, an organic polymer redox flow battery using just organic polymers and salt water, saline. And this is hugely important. The efficiency level that they've got so far is almost to that of just your regular kind of lithium batteries. And this is really big because that means we can grow batteries at this point and not use acids and not use metals. This is going to be so good for our environment. It's a very cool thing. So keep your eyes out for a new organic polymer saline based battery. It's going to take a little while, but the way that they have developed this, it's about ready to go straight to manufacturing, and it's really cheap. So we're going to see this. It's going to happen. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is yesterday was Back to the Future Day. It's kind of the reason I mentioned the hoverboards. Michael J. Fox was all over the news. There were some amazing jokes. He was on TV doing interviews and stuff. And I think it's really important that everyone remembers one of the things that he really advocates for is Parkinson's disease research. It's really important. There are 1 million people that are diagnosed with Parkinson's in America right now. My grandmother passed away from it, and it was a horrific, horrible thing. I'm sorry she had to go through that, but not everybody has to go through what she did. The foundation is making headway, and they have a lot of new goals in mind. Michael J. Fox has an organization that he runs and that will take donations that I'm willing, if you will go out there and donate $40 in the name of Elsie Pego, that's my grandmother, ELSIEPEGO, I will give you 2 Boo Science necklaces. I will send them to you. Just show me a kind of a digital receipt. You can send me a screenshot of your donation in the name of Elsie Pego to the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's research. I'll put the link kind of down right here below. I don't think there's room up here by my head, but I don't know, maybe down here. I will put down the link that you need to go to, and if you donate $40, not 4, but 40, if you donate $40, which is about the price of one of my necklaces, I will send you 2. And then you can send one to a friend, or you can have a Christmas present ready to go for one of your friends or yourself or whatever. You can just, you know, put it in the closet, you can give it away, you can do whatever you want to do with that second necklace. You probably should wear the first one though, because they look awfully nice on everyone. So, if anybody wants to do really well by me, by my grandma, and by the world, and kind of change something for a good person here today, donate to this organization and we will get some serious research done, and people in the future will not have to suffer as much for this disease. Okay, you guys have a good sciencing day. Try to do better today than you did yesterday, and I will talk to you later. All right, bye.